After several recommendations from fellow YouTubers, I saw the movie They Live for the first time around a year ago, and holy freaking moly, this film is amazing, especially the fight scene, but we'll get to that. They Live is one of those movies that's kind of like The Matrix, where you're living your life, and then you realize that there's more to it than you think, and you can choose to wake up and see the truth, or go back to normal and forget about it. Red pilling is probably the most popular phrase that describes this type of story. Spoiler warning for those who haven't seen it yet, or who somehow can't guess what this is going to be about based on the movie cover and the video title. Aliens have infiltrated Earth and have blended in with humans, and the only way to see them is with these special sunglasses. But the aliens weren't the only things that were hidden. In fact, the whole world is under an illusion, where through only the glasses on billboards can you see the subliminal obey or reproduce and stay asleep and whatnot, which means that they have a sort of control over the entire population. Anyway, I want to focus on the infamous long fight scene between our main guy George Nada and his sort of friend Frank. This fight scene is jam-packed with substance.
You dirty motherfucker!
The fight itself isn't too impressive, but it's not supposed to be. These are not two martial artists or warriors having to go at each other, they are just regular guys duking it out in an alleyway. George found the box of glasses and wants to find someone to show them the truth so that they can see as well. Frank met up with him just to hand over 1 week's pay from the job that George was working earlier. For context here, from Frank's perspective, George had just killed a bunch of people and is on the run, but he doesn't know what to think of it, if this guy's like innocent or a crazy mofo, but Frank seems to have a caring nature, and the most that he could do without getting too involved is give him pay that was owed and wish him luck. And from George's perspective, he had just killed a no-good, dirty, rotten, infiltrating alien, a whole bunch of infiltrating aliens, and wouldn't it be great to have this nice, awesome guy on his side? So George asks if he can put on the glasses, and Frank declines, and then George starts demanding that he puts on the glasses, and Frank is like, I don't care what you want, get the hell away from me. And George gets a little too close, and Frank pops him a good one in the schnoz. George tries to get serious and says this can help not only you, but his family. Quite noble, right? But Frank is like, dude, you can't even save your damn self. George gives him a choice to put the glasses on his face or make room for dinner, cause he'll be eating that trash can. And so begins the fight. They each get a couple of good shots at each other before George says he doesn't want to fight him, but it's too late now, it's on.
I don't want to fight you.
Come on!
I don't want to fight you. Stop it.
No!
Frank clearly did not want to get involved, but look where we are now. And then in this next sequence, it shows a difference in their character. George goes for a dirty crotch shot, and Frank is just like, what the fuck, man? And George puts the glasses in Frank's hand and tells him to take a look again. They're both a little tired now, so you'd think, maybe he'll put them on now, right? I mean, it's not like he's asking Frank to do something super risky or dangerous, just put on the glasses. But this is why I freaking love this scene so much. Even though this whole fight is over something relatively small, putting on glasses, Frank does not have to. This is a free freaking country. George is fighting for the same freedom in this movie, and Frank saying no to putting on the glasses and proceeding in a brutal fight to prevent them from being forced onto him is brilliant. I'm not sure if other people saw this movie in that way. Like, Frank is fighting for his right to not put something on, not have something forced onto him, and George is trying to fight, against the aliens and stuff, so they're both fighting with their own perspectives here. And on top of that, throughout the fight, we are shown details about their character. More than once, Frank has basically beaten George in this fight, having many opportunities to keep on attacking him while he's down, but he chooses not to and starts to walk away. George is one mofo that does not give up even if things are not looking great for him. He keeps getting back up and is determined to get this guy to see his way. His tactics are less honorable than Frank's, I would say. He went for the crotch shot before, and he attacks him from behind, and he picks up a weapon while Frank was unarmed. Not exactly playing fair game here. These character differences are presented so well in this fight and shows how far they are willing to go to do what they think is right. And on top of that, this fight is presented in the simplest way possible. Not only are they unskilled fighters, but there isn't any action music playing the whole time or in the background. The sound effects are not too wild, just some normal sounds. The camera isn't shaking like crazy, trying to have like 100 cuts every single couple minutes. The fight has a major sense of reality, making you feel the fatigue that they're experiencing, and the icing on the cake is the length of the fight is freaking perfect. If this was over in half the time, it would be less believable that Frank was convinced or too beaten to resist George. It also wouldn't portray their personalities well enough in such a short amount of time. And if it were a longer scene, even adding 1 or 2 extra minutes, the majority of audiences would likely be feeling a mental fatigue in watching this fight and would be begging for it to be over, even if it was done just as well as it was. I never expected this scene to stand out most from this alien infiltration and government control film. And there's also just one last bonus that I got out of this scene. I have watched South Park for many years, most of my life I would say, and now I understand that reference where Jimmy and Timmy were fighting, and I'm glad that I know what that's from now. That's a small little bonus, but I like knowing the context for that now. Anyway, to start wrapping this up, as I learn more about filmmaking, this scene is one of my top 10 favorites with how much it accomplishes. Let me know what you all think of this scene, and if you took anything similar away like I did, and if there's any more layers to the scene than I thought, then let me know about that in the comments, and have a great rest of your day.